it's not like there's going to be anybody here for a little while.
Ever.
Yeah, I'd honestly be surprised if anybody shows up at all. I wonder if there's a way that we can see who it is, or like see the chat.
Should show over on the right side.
Chat. Oh yeah, there it is.
Nerd.
Man, it's a whole new world.
That's right.
It's a whole new world. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? YouTube world. This is our first go around at this this live stream deal, and I'm Tori.
I'm Craig.
That's Craig. And you may recognize us, probably not, but you may recognize us from previous Central Disc Company fame back in 2016. That was the thing. And we're back. Not the same, but we are back to some degree. So, Craig, what have you been up to the last 2 years since Central Disc was last on the scene?
Well, I had just gotten married when we started that, and that takes up some time. So
And money.
And now just getting ready for a kid here in a few months, and that's about it.
Crazy world, man. You're gonna be a dad.
It's a little scary.
Yeah. When's the old nugget due?
March 26th.
Pretty quick.
March
pretty quick.
26th. Talk about taking some money.
Yeah. Yep. They say it's like 18 grand or something like per year. I don't even know. I'm making that up. I
just pulled that. That's a lot, but maybe.
I don't know. It averages. It's like over 18 years averages out to some crazy number. I don't know. But as for me, since 2016, last year, I guess it wasn't 2 years ago in 2016, but last year, well, I guess we'd been preparing to move. So I moved to Texas. That's the big thing. I moved to Texas from Michigan, and we prepared to move for like a year before that almost. And that was about the time where we were kind of seeing the writing on the wall with Central Disc. Between that and another guy moving in on our territory and having the funds to actually open up a shop, a brick and mortar store, which was in the long-term plan for Central Disc, but it just did not materialize very quickly. And
which it's great that he's there. I'm glad that he's there. He's a great guy. Sure. I love going and talking to him, buying stuff from him. So glad that somebody's able to do it.
Yeah, if it wasn't going to be us, I mean, all power to him. Like he had much better preparation, I guess we would probably say.
Wow.
We just kind of dove into it and ran with it, which is how a lot of good ideas start. I mean, I don't regret it. We turned a profit. So,
well, we both were just in a spot where it just wasn't, we didn't have time for it. So
yeah, we just kind of ended it. It wasn't like a big catastrophic failure or anything. It was just,
right. It's good while it lasted.
Yeah, it was fun.
How many cool people?
Definitely met some cool people. How many people can say that they were small business owners? A lot of people probably can't. But being a small business owner for some period of time is a pretty cool thing to be able to say.
Yeah.
You know, we still have not a lot, but we still have some pretty solid connections in the industry. Not as many as some other people that are doing this whole live stream podcast deal, but I mean, it seems like in the last maybe 6 months, obviously the huge thing is Paul McBeth and his switch over from Innova to Discraft, which I didn't even like. I guess a lot of people saw it coming, but I know for me, that whole switch kind of got me like reignited into the disc golf thing, and it seems like maybe it was also kind of that way for you too.
Yeah, for sure. I think we both were kind of in a spot where it wasn't even on our radar. Like disc golf wasn't even. It's still something we enjoyed to do, but we weren't really into it. I mean, me being in Michigan, it's cold as heck up here, and that was in the fall or late or early winter, so I guess it wasn't that cold yet. But also was thinking about hunting and fishing and things I like to do in the fall. So disc golf was not on my radar when that news broke. So definitely lit a fire under me to get back into disc golf and really track what he's doing this year.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, like exactly what you said, basically I played disc golf all summer long, pretty much, even though it's hot as balls down here in Texas, but played a little bit and that was it. Like, it always has been ever since I started, just something that I love to do and something to go be outside and do something active instead of sitting on the couch. But then for people who follow disc golf really closely all the time, which I have been that person in the past, I probably would have seen this McBeth thing coming a mile away at that
Right.
like in that point in my life. But this year it just totally caught me off guard, and all of a sudden it was like, boom, everything about the game has changed. Like, really, I know people are kind of like annoyed by the whole thing because some people think it's overblown. But in my opinion, as somebody who's been a Discraft guy for my entire time playing disc golf, it was just like the most unbelievable thing that possibly could have happened.
Well, I mean, it's like the equivalent of like Tiger Woods in the '90s going to Adidas or something, switching over to Adidas.
Well, even I mean, he was Titleist, and
Right.
Titleist was like the biggest name, and Nike was kind of just getting into ball golf.
True. That's true.
So it really is pretty
It is
parallel
like that. Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, so I think from that point, and started in November or whatever, from that point it's just been like the whole disc golf world's gone insane, and I think there's probably more anticipation for this upcoming pro year than any year that I can remember.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's huge, and it's not just Paul. I mean, it's Ricky going back to Innova, back to kind of like his roots, I guess you could say, and then Yuli going to Discraft. Prodigy picking up Kevin Jones or Kevin Jones, yeah. I know he's like the up and coming guy.
He's going to be real good, or already is good. But
yeah, he had some top 3, top 5 finishes last year, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't pay enough attention last year.
Sounded good to me.
What's that?
Sounded good to me. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
He probably did.
Sounded unbelievable to me. Yeah, he was like the best guy ever. But whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. I'm excited this year. Well, I think we'll talk a little bit about the Discraft Underground thing and how cool that is in a little bit. But Team Discraft at the pro level, it's like you've got Nate Doss, who's kind of transitioning out and brewing beer like a champion.
Right.
I mean,
that's pretty cool.
That guy's not living the dream.
To go from disc golf to brewing beer, I mean, exactly. I can think of a lot of worse things to be doing with your life.
Yes.
I would do it.
That would be, I mean, how many, as somebody who's been absolutely stoked about disc golf at a point in my life, and also been absolutely stoked about like homebrewing beer for a season in my life.
Right.
Man, that guy's the dream.
Living your life.
Yeah.
You always wanted.
Yes.
And you're doing mediocre disc golf podcast.
Spitting in my face every single day of his life.
Someday, maybe we'll get there.
Someday. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying. I got a YouTube channel. I mean, I got my personal YouTube channel. I'm trying to get YouTube famous. It's not working very well.
That's what it is. Anyway,
so we've talked, just kind of the two of us, and I think for anybody that's watching this, which we currently have 0 viewers, surprise of the century.
This is kind of just a surprise. Hey, let's jump on here and start this thing.
Yeah, so. It's not like we hyped it at all or anything. We didn't put it out on any social media. This is more of like a trial run for us than anything else. Like, we might even delete this off the channel at some point if it,
Not too concerned either way.
I just want to make sure it worked.
Right.
I want to make sure we could figure it out. But we've had a lot of conversations, and a lot of, I think what we have talked about this podcast being is just like the reality of guys who are a lot like us, who love disc golf but are just not ever going to be awesome at it,
right?
Or not going to be like world beaters, or even like AM1 top 10 guys probably, but who cares?
Well, and I think that's the cool thing about disc golf, is that maybe more so than other sports, because of the different divisions and tournaments and stuff, and it's an individual sport. It's not like basketball where you can be terrible, but you can go out and get put on a good team and just kind of ride the coattails. Yeah. Disc golf, you're kind of out there. If you stink, you stink, and it's pretty obvious when you start playing. I mean, we played that tournament a few years ago. It was my first and only tournament, and I went into it thinking, oh my God, I'm going to just put a lot of stress on myself, and I'm going to go win this thing. And I put a lot of stress on myself and completely tanked. So at that point, I realized that I am not playing for money. I'm not playing for sponsorship, nothing. I just need to have fun with it. And that's really the point of this podcast, is two guys that we're not pros. We're not going to pretend to be pros. We're going to shoot the shit, and I don't know if you can say that on YouTube. Probably.
I think you can. Yeah.
I just did. So,
I mean, a lot of the live streamers I watch, they swear like sailors. It's not like their stream gets jacked.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's who we are. We're not going to try to pretend to be pro disc golfers, or I don't know. You'll see videos and feel free to critique my form and my ability and whatever. I'm just out hanging out with my wife, having a good time. So don't really care.
That's the biggest thing too for me. Like, you know, my wife, she plays with me. Like, it's not like that's something that I go do on my own. Like, most of the time that I play, I'm playing with her because it's something that we're both, you know, we'll take the dog and we'll go outside and just get out of doors for a little while. But like, we went today and we played Texas Army Trail because so moving to Houston, like there's tons of courses here. You were talking the other day, I was telling you about a new course that I went and played, and you were like, man, it's like you play a different course every day. And I really probably could, if I felt like driving far enough, I could, you know, go a month or so and play a different course every day if I wanted to. But
and they're all inside Houston city limits, probably, right?
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, well, they're not necessarily on city limits, but they're definitely in like the metro area, and like what's defined as Houston.
Yeah.
It's not like Detroit, where people are like, no, I'm not from Detroit, I'm from Rochester Hills. Like, they want to make a very clear distinction that they're not from Detroit.
Yeah.
Here,
you don't want to claim that. Yeah.
People, you know, up in Cypress or Spring or, you know, all those places, when I would assume that when they talk about where they're from, they just say they're from Houston, because it doesn't have the same connotations as Detroit. But so we went up there, and Texas Army Trail was the home at like the Texas State Championships, I think 2 years ago.
We played 2 years ago, I think so.
We played the course that's hosting it this upcoming year, last weekend. And things are pretty soggy out right now because Houston's a swamp. And it's been rainy and foggy, but you know, it's just a good time. We got some.
I don't know how you get through with all the terrible weather down there. I mean,
I know it's awful, man.
Just
I'll wake up and be like 32.
Terrible, man. Yeah, awful. Well, it's been like -40 here all week, so
we got the polar vortex down here.
That's why we're doing a podcast right now, because there's nothing really better to do, because there's a foot or 15 inches of snow outside and it's cold. So
tell the people what you attempted today
my wife and I went to play disc golf, and we made it through 4 holes, and not even the tee pads were cleaned off. I mean, we're talking 15 inches of snow. It's not even worth it at that point. We tried, gave it our best effort, and 4 holes was all we had. So now we're back home where it's warm.
And so you guys went and played Reed County Park, right?
Reed County Park, yeah. It's about, I don't know,
Ithaca, Michigan.
15 miles away from me. It's been -30, 40 degrees out all week, and we've been stuck inside. So today it's like 35 degrees out, and it's like a heat wave. And thinking, man, we got to get out of the house. So we attempted. It didn't work.
Yeah. Talked to my folks earlier today and asked them how they passed the time during the polar vortex. My dad said Crown and Coke. That was the only thing.
That's the truth. Seriously, it's been terrible.
It has looked terrible from afar. I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been many times since moving down here where I've been like, man, I just want to. I'm looking at a thing on the wall right now that says home, and it's got a little cutout of Michigan. Like, I just want to go back to Michigan for a little bit, visit home. But last week was not one of those times.
No,
not at all.
It was terrible. But it's supposed to be like 40 the next few days, and it's supposed to be back in like the 20s, which is still pretty cold, but I'll take that over -30, -40 all day, every day. And we live out in the country with an open field behind our house, so it's just wind like crazy. So
yeah, there's another thing. You got married, you got a kid on the way, and you guys bought a house.
Yeah, we bought a house.
Since we last.
I've had about 30 jobs in the last 2 years too. So, I like to keep people on their toes, and I run into people all the time. And they're like, "Oh, are you still doing this?" Nope. I've had about 6 jobs since that, but good to see we're staying in touch.
Yep. You know, some people only keep in touch on social media, and as we both have totally bailed on social media, other than YouTube, clearly, as we're sitting here, but Facebook and all that crap. What's that?
Tech wizards.
Tech wizards.
That's me.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to limp along here and make. I mean, I got a cool microphone, so I look like I'm legit. But
I don't. I got free headphones. It came with $1,000
came with the
iPhone.
phone.
Thanks for the headphones, Apple.
Yeah. At least they could have give you a freaking pair of AirPods. I mean,
Right.
come on.
You would think so.
You're
I mean,
taking out a second mortgage for the phone already.
we can tag them in this, and maybe it'll convince them. I'm sure they'll watch.
Probably.
Especially to the whatever 20-minute mark or whatever we're at, 5-minute mark. Feels like 30 minutes, but anyway.
I actually have no idea how long we've been on. There's not
I don't know.
or anything.
I don't even know if you can tell. I don't think you can.
We haven't really even gotten into any of the discussion yet.
We should probably get into some disc golf.
Just been shooting the shit. So
yeah,
I got some videos I'm gonna roll in. Like I said, so both of us played a round today, and I managed all 18 holes because
I would hope
it's
so.
not a subarctic tundra where I live right now. So I got a couple videos, and then I got a couple of yours too that you sent me.
Am I gonna be able to see these? I'm not gonna be able to see these.
I'm gonna share my screen. So I think
I don't know how that works.
We're just freewheeling here. So
I literally don't know how any of this works.
I'm gonna try it. Here we go.
Don't see anything.
Share my entire screen.
Oh, there we go.
So you can see my screen right now.
I see myself.
All right. Now do you see my videos here?
Yep.
And my beautiful landscape on my desktop that I almost never work on anymore?
Yeah, I do see that.
All right, so we're gonna start here with your first drive of the day. How about that?
Yeah, this is in about 15 inches of snow. You can see there's no tee pad. It's just non-existent. Hook's pretty hard to the left here, so
yeah, as you can see right here, if you can follow my mouse, it's kind of got a little 260 little short hyzer
tunnel and hangs to the left. You try to shoot down that tunnel, and I failed miserably.
Looks like somebody's been out here with some cross-country skis.
That's exactly what it was, yes.
Nice. Making the most of it, you know.
That's all you can hope to do at this point.
Do you think they were skiing and discing?
I don't think so. They weren't going anywhere near the basket.
That would be quite like maybe not skis, but like snowshoes. Trying to disc off and snow.
At first, I thought because there's like you go over a pond to get to this first tee. For those of you that haven't been there, and I thought at first it was like tracks from like maybe a Zuka cart or something. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe somebody's been out here and the tee pads are shoveled. No, once we got over the bridge, you could clearly tell it was just cross country skis, and nobody had been out here in at least a week. So anyway, roll the footage.
Let's take a look at what we got here.
Awesome first drive of the day.
First drive of the year? No.
Boom.
Crusher.
Crusher.
Look at that vest. Let's run that back.
The vest flies open.
Dude.
Belly comes out, and I smack the tree pretty good. So you can see it over there on the left.
Look at this head hang of shame here.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough.
I didn't throw from that spot, if you're wondering, because it's some pretty like thick thorn.
You're looking the part, though. I mean, look at the outfit here.
You're
looking the part.
I got this new Discraft gear yesterday. Shout out to them. They didn't send it to me for free. I'm not that good or anything. I paid full retail price for it. But it's cool. His hat's comfortable. The shirt's comfortable. So I wore them both today and tried to look the part. Thought maybe we'd see somebody out there that would think I was good. But
yeah, I think you were hardcore out there.
My wife said she liked the hat and the shirt. So
that's really what matters.
Yeah.
If we're getting right down to it, if you're out there on the course and the wife is like, hey, liking the way you're looking, then that's a win.
You're happy.
That's a win for the day. Yeah. You can go home. You can play 4 holes and go home and be fine.
And that's what we did. Exactly.
So yeah, that was hole number 1 of your round today.
Got better from there.
It got what?
It got better from there.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
It really can't get much worse, but it was good after that. It was.
So we're gonna look at so this is actually hole number 3 at Texas Army Trail. So you got this kind of like a basin thing here. It's like a collection pond thing.
Okay.
And back in the opposite corner of this corner, so it's a big rectangle. And on the opposite corner of this corner here, back over this way, is like a big old drain that goes into Spring Creek or Cypress Creek, one of the two. I don't know. So this gets flooded sometimes, but obviously not today. This is hole number 3. Basket's right there. And I wanted to try out the new Macbeth Buzz that you sent me. I think it was like a 320-foot shot or something. I want to try out the new Macbeth Buzz that you got me. Shout out to you for sending me that Macbeth Buzz after we made a little trade.
It was a trade deal, basically.
It was good. I mean, I think I came out better, but
well, for sure you did. But I flipped those trades for something else.
Right, exactly. So I gave you the currency you needed to get what you actually wanted. But I will say I'm a little bit disappointed because, as you'll see, my Macbeth Buzz didn't go directly into the change like they are advertised. So we'll go ahead and roll this, and you can see what happens.
Okay, giving a product description here. Like it.
Got the buff hanging out the back pocket like a gangster.
What's the temperature there? Did you say
67.
that? 67? I'd be sweating.
Yeah, by the end of the round I was sweating.
Surprised you had pants on.
Well, this is the course with the venomous snakes.
Oh.
The signs that say venomous snakes. So
I wouldn't be playing there.
Yeah. No. So as you can see,
so did you pop it up a little bit here? What happened?
What?
Did you pop it up a little here?
Yeah. I skyballed the thing.
Yeah.
And so you can see my thumb right there, a little bit kind of towards the middle of the flight blade. That was dumb. But we were in a little bit of headwind. I thought it was going to flip. I'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the Buzz here in a second. But my form's getting a lot better. I feel like I got this straight line pull, reach back. That little move there where
pull through was good.
Yeah, but I just up in the air and it hyzered like crazy. Obviously, I was probably maybe 20 feet short. So yeah, my Buzz is broke.
That thing I sent you the other day, the guy asked how those new ones fly, and somebody said they go straight in the basket every time.
Straight in the chains every time.
Good thing
That's what I was told.
So yeah,
that's what I was told. Yeah. So false advertising. They need to nip
Send
that
one back and see if they'll get you a new one.
I should trade it in. I must have had the lemon. I don't know.
At least tag Paul in this video and see what the deal is.
Yep. Yeah. Paul, what's going on? I thought you put your full champion magic in all these discs,
right?
And made them just 8 time, But it's at the same time, it's not a Thunderbird, so maybe there's something lacking. I don't know.
Better. Let's be honest. It's got the Discraft stamp on it, so
we full disclosure to anybody watching this, which is probably no one currently live, no one, but anybody who watches it in the future.
If they did click on it, they've clicked off of it by this point.
Probably, yep, probably. Who are these idiots freaking babbling on about disc golf? They look.
That's fine though. That's who we are, and
it is what it is. Like we said,
Full disclosure. What were you saying?
Full disclosure. We're both Discraft homers, like hardcore, and we've both we've strayed away, I guess you could say, at different times. There was a time where I had only a Buzz in my bag. That was the only Discraft. Actually, I think it was a Buzz and a Meteor in my bag in my mid-range lineup, and then I had a Rock, like a DX and a KC Pro Rock in my bag at the time. So I had like the kind of more overstable, something that hooked up a little bit, and then I had a nice beat-in Buzz that was real nice and straight, and then the Meteor was kind of the flippy mid. But other than those two, everything else that I had at the time was Innova. And this was probably like 2012. I started off when I first started playing disc golf. I got the Discraft starter pack, so it was like the soft APX, like a black Pro D Buzz. So that was awesome. I'm
super helpful to find.
Yeah, very, very easy to find all the time. I held on to it for probably like 6 months, which is like,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's like
knowing what courses you're playing, and it's just all grass. There's not really dirt around the basket, so
right,
tough to find.
Yeah, but it was dumb. But then my the disc that I actually loved the most and still love to this day, even though I don't bag it anymore, was the Stratus in X plastic. It was an orange, like 165 Stratus X. And that was the disc that I learned how to hyzer flip with, because I would throw it flat. I would kind of throw it with like low power because I wasn't very good, and it would go straight. But then as I got better, I'd throw it and it would just flip and it would become a roller, because that's kind of what the disc is designed to do.
Sure.
And so I learned the hyzer flip, and I would literally put it on an angle like this, and it would flip up and go straight and just go forever. And then years later, I would use it as like a mid-range like a little flip turnover because my forehand sucked so bad. And yeah, so that was how I started in disc golf. And ever since then, I've just been all about Discraft because I learned pretty early on that they were a Michigan company, and their factory was like right down the street from where my wife grew up. So
Yeah, I think the last Innova disc I bought was like maybe 2014. I think the last time I had Innova in my bag was 2015, maybe. I don't know. I remember you talking to me about Discraft being a Michigan-based company, and I'd only been playing for like a year or two at that time, so I didn't really know a ton. But you were telling me that, and then my then brother-in-law was all about Discraft and them being a Michigan brand, and so I started looking into their stuff, got into it, but also got into dynamic discs a lot. I really like what they do for the sport. All their promotion, all their apparel, all their just everything, their videos. I think they do a really good job. Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, shout out to him. He's a funny guy.
Disc Golf Answer Man podcast with him and EMAC.
And McCabe, yes. Yeah. It's a good – they do a good thing. They have a good product. I actually have a dynamic disc bag at this point. I've had a Ranger in the past. I used to bag quite a bit of dynamic disc.
We both did there for a while. We both had a lot of Trilogy at one point.
Yeah, I had quite a few Truths, EMAC Truths. I don't know, a lot of their drivers I like. I like the feel of their plastic, but at the end of the day, I get a more consistent flight from disc to disc with my Discraft stuff than I do with dynamic disc or with any brand really. So that's ultimately what led me full-time to Discraft.
Yeah, that was my big thing with Innova, like back in the early like 2010s. You know, when I got the Discraft pack, and then immediately like most of the stores around us carried like, you know, you go to Dick's Sporting Goods and it's all Innova. Only the MC Sports that's now closed
no longer available.
Yeah, that was the only place you could get anything other than.
And they didn't even have any Discraft really. They had like buzzes and cranks maybe.
Yeah, they had some.
I don't remember anything
else.
They
had nukes for a while when nukes had just come out. They had a ton.
They had magnets, but they didn't have like a big selection by any means, and they weren't promoting it. And if they had a crank, they had like two cranks, and one was like 150 and one was like 175 or something. They were just crazy inconsistent with what they had ordered or what they had got. But
at that time, I was both like, man, if we could just like get hired at one of these sporting goods stores just to tell them what people actually want. Like there was such a huge like disc golf community in Central Michigan, and there still is. I mean, you go to doubles or whatever on Saturday at Deerfield, and it's packed out. Like there's 50, 60 guys there, and anytime there's a tournament around, it's full. So we were like, man, these places could be making so much money off of discs, probably small relative to the margins that they make on everything else, in all honesty. But at the time we were just like, holy crap, if they would just let us tell them what to buy.
I mean, more money. I wrote multiple things to both MC Sports and to Dick's just saying, hey, you need to get your crap together because you have like 4 different discs and you have a huge target market here that could be getting, but they never listened.
Dunham's had some dynamic stuff there for a while.
They still do, yeah. They still sell quite a bit of
Trilogy. I bought my first EMAC Truth from that Dunham's actually.
Mm-hmm.
It was like right when EMACs came out, and I was looking through all because they have them hanging in the bags, and I was looking through all
super annoying.
Yeah, it is really annoying.
I don't like that, but now they seem to have a lot of just like the Marvel. I don't know what that actual it might just be
like
Marvel,
Captain America stamp and stuff.
They just have a lot of those that are just like Captain America Truths, and that's all they have. They don't have a very good selection anymore, but they do have a lot of bags and baskets and stuff. They have a lot more.
Does?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So they've got more than what Dick's has now.
Yeah. Well, Sean moved into town and started
Sean, he's got it all, man.
Dude, for real though, like as much as we talk about, basket bangers, shout out to them, for real basket bangers in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. As much as we say like they contributed to us shutting down and not being a retailer anymore, like that was what he's doing was our vision for what we wanted to do.
Exactly what it was, yeah. No.
He's doing
in all honesty, it's not like we were like selling things left and right. I mean, we were selling them to people and we were getting name out there, but I think we both were in a spot where we would much rather take somebody out to play disc golf for the first time than try to make a buck off something.
Yeah.
I mean, for me anyway, I get a lot more enjoyment just spreading the how to play and just knowledge of the game, and
Right.
you know, introducing them to the pros, and that there's a whole pro tour and you can watch it live. And
Yeah.
I get a lot more enjoyment out of that than trying to sit here and sell something and tell you how all these different discs work. Because at the end of the day, like you said, we both throw Discraft and we like Discraft. So for me to try to sell you something from Discmania, I don't know anything about them. I'm not going to know what to even tell you or where to even start.
Yeah.
Not to mention they wouldn't give us any product because we didn't have a brick and mortar store.
Right.
That's beside the point. I mean,
Discraft did us a solid sending us product when we didn't have.
That's another reason that I'm a big fan of Trilogy and of Discraft. They both were like went above and beyond to help us out. And
we still get calls from Scott at Discraft, and wanting to know if we're still doing our thing and still selling or thinking about it. We communicated obviously that we were not going to keep doing it, but he's just like, hey, wholesale prices have never been lower, like trying to entice us back in. And it's just like, I live halfway across the country now.
Right. It's not even doable at this point. But anyway.
So you mentioned Discmania, and I had a thought. One of my favorite discs that I've ever thrown, 100%, was a PD Freak. A Discmania PD Freak. They call it something different now. I don't think they use maybe they do. I don't know. I don't like you said, we have no idea because
I literally don't even. I couldn't even name anything.
No, but it was so I know like the FD, the fairway driver, gets a lot of love, and I think it's a pretty straight flying, like neutral. A lot of the guys. So I played on the Central Michigan University disc golf team when it was first formed. And a lot of those guys loved
That's like a what, 7th year senior? Weren't you like a 7th year
senior at the time?
All right.
But working full time and trying to get your undergrad done.
Hey, that's not a knock on you. I'm just saying.
No, yeah. I mean,
I remember you telling me that, and you're like, God, I'm going to hang out with like these 18-year-olds, and I just don't.
I was a married guy with a house who lived like down the street
and a full-time job.
To practice, just blitz out of their mind. Not all of them. Some of them are still some of them are good dudes.
Cool guys.
A couple of them were actually on the Discraft Underground team, which is sweet for them.
Yeah.
We actually, they did good. I played one tournament with them. Again, I was the old guy. I was on my way out. But I played one tournament in Kalamazoo, and we did okay. But they ended up going to the Collegiate Nationals and doing pretty well one year. I think it was maybe a top 10 finish. I don't know. You can't quote me on that, but I think they finished like number 8. But some of those guys are sweet. Like, Tyler's got a pretty good following on Instagram. Tyler Huey. And what was his name? Carl, Mother Huck and Chucker. Remember that guy?
I do. I remember you talking about him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on that team. Solid dudes. Jordan Bursma was like one of our coaches, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the guys, a lot of the big names in the local scene, the guys who design the local courses and are, tournament directors all the time. They were all really, really supportive and helped us a lot. And we had an in with Dynamic for a hot minute there. They helped us get our shirts. So our like team shirts have Dynamic discs on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Had Dynamic discs on the back, and they sent us a bunch of like judges and wardens and stuff.
I got my first judge from you, who you got it from them.
Yep.
That's what I like about Dynamic and just about Trilogy in general. They go beyond what they're supposed to be doing to help startup teams, startup courses, startup leagues. Like I feel like they do the best job of any company of really promoting the sport, and that's why I give them my money.
Yeah,
really.
You're 100% right. I mean, they came out of the gates. We were just talking about this the other day. Discraft, up until like 6 months ago, hadn't had a YouTube video in like 5 years or something like that.
It was 5 or 6 years, yeah,
something crazy like that. And in that like kind of middle ground time, there wasn't a whole lot from Innova either. Like these are companies that have been making golf discs since the 80s and are, you know, in terms of their position within their market, they're the top dogs. And then
Innova, I mean, they didn't really have to do anything. They had Paul Macbeth and
yeah, they
put his
had
picture on something, and they're good to go.
right, exactly. And
So,
do that, and then plus they've got, you know, their exclusive deals with places like Dick's Sporting Goods, where Dick's is only ever going to have Innova discs in store. And you know, you can't compete with that very well unless you do the things that those companies aren't doing. And what Innova and Discraft were each not doing was videos and this kind of new media deal that this is now. And so Dynamic and all of Trilogy kind of came out, and Prodigy, that was like the big shakeup early on in the early 2000s. They got all the pros, like other than Paul, I can't, and Nate Doss and Eric McCabe. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. And Barsby,
they got a lot.
They got a ton of the top pros, the young top pros at the time. And they shook stuff up, and they were trying to be, you know, a little bit more tech forward. And then Dynamic, who was, you know, just selling discs at the time and doing like the custom stamps and stuff. When they started making discs and then they merged with Trilogy, they just did like the full court press on everything digital. And they had like the which disc is right. Is this disc right for you? Those
I love those videos. Yeah, those were great. That was a big reason I got into Dynamic, is because of those videos, and then it makes you want to go try them out. Even if I could sit in my living room and say, nope, that disc is not for me, I was going to buy it and try it out. So
you're looking at, you know, Dixon Gowers throwing an overstable, you know, wide rimmed high speed driver, and you know that it's going to come out and go, you know, barely 300 yards for you and just be a meat hook, but you still want it because
Cool Daddy Slick Breeze would jump up there and he'd be like, this is going to be terrible. But he gave it his all, and that's why I like the guy, because he is honest and would not pretend to be somebody he wasn't, and I like that.
Yep. And that's kind of the name of the game for this show too, this podcast, is we're just going to be ourselves, and we're not, you know, over the years or over however long we do this, I shouldn't say over the years,
over the weeks.
We don't have necessarily the track record of longevity backing us up, but I think we're both pumped about this. And like you said, actually, as we were talking about this, like at the very least, no one could ever watch these maybe. And at the very least, we're staying in touch and we're having a weekly phone call or whatever about all the shit we love. So, you know, we might talk about fishing at some point. We might talk about hunting. We might talk about this or that, but
we might not talk for a while as soon as this baby comes. So that could be another thing. We could have like 2 videos and then just disappear for a couple months. But
ghosted.
You never know. You never want to get your balls put in a vice, you know.
Exactly. You definitely don't want kids to ruin your life
or your wife or anything. But
don't want that. Can't have that. I'm gonna do my best to keep you into you.
Anyway, with the inside jokes. Anyway,
so many have fallen.
Anyway,
God bless our brothers.
Yes.
But you know,
anyway,
we can't understand until we're in their shoes. I guess maybe we'll see that you know, having kids is death.
Well, I'm a little late, so I hope it's not.
Yeah, I hope it's not too.
For
the sake of our YouTube fame.
We're taking off, and then
all 0 viewers, man. This has been quite the time.
Well, I mean, who's gonna know that we're going live right now? It's not like we have followers.
Exactly.
So how are they gonna? We're not alerting anybody.
We have a pretty decent following on Instagram, but we didn't pump it on Instagram for this first go.
That's what I mean. It doesn't send an alert to people on Instagram.
Right. So I guess we'll round this out. And so next time we do a podcast, I want to get, you know, some information together from the two of us about tournaments that we're going to play. Obviously, you up in Michigan, me down here. Some previews of tournaments and stuff that we're going to play this year, and tournaments that we're you know, kind of pumped to watch on, you know, whether it's Jomez Pro or Central Coast Disc or any of those YouTube guys that do awesome coverage. Ones that we're pumped to watch. Memorial's coming up pretty soon. They got that Vegas one and they've got like the wintertime classic or something like that. I saw is coming up pretty soon. Like February is kind of like the kickoff month, and then the Memorial is the first national tour at the end of the month.
Yep.
So got some decent coverage coming up to watch and comment on and check out, and maybe we'll each go over our bag or something. I got my bag sitting here, and it's full of
I got mine here.
Full of Discraft discs.
I'm trying to dry out a little bit, but I will say that the newest addition to the bag has been pretty money so far.
The Luna?
Yeah. So, Paul, these are pretty great.
Put that back up there. I think I stole the feed.
Great. So, they're pretty good. I like them a lot. We'll talk about them more at a later date.
This is that buzz that is courtesy.
It's a lot more purple than. Oh, that stamp looks pretty good though.
It's awesome. It's like it's kind of like a red, white, and blue kind of deal, and then the baby blue with a little bit of the swirl. It's not the swirliest I've seen, but it's pretty.
It's cooler than the one I got.
So I did mention I wanted to talk about this buzz a little bit, and I've told you about it too. It's a sweet buzz, obviously. Oh, hey, nice.
Mine's not that great. But, whoa!
Put it back up. Look at it.
But I got another one coming because couldn't just buy just one. But
naturally. I want one of those. I want one of those TI Undertakers that have his stamp on it. Those are sweet.
Those are pretty cool.
And I like the TI plastic. I remember when the TI plastic came out, and I got.
So speaking of,
I got this buzz, this TI buzz. It's like a little color shifty.
Yep, that's a good one. Didn't you get an ace with that one time when we were?
A couple times.
This
is the only disc I've ever aced with, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
All three of them with that one disc?
Yep.
Better not lose it.
It's got more in it. I'm not gonna take it out of the bag. It's got a couple.
I just did like a mini in the bag. I just whipped out 3 discs.
What was the titanium one that you had?
It was an Undertaker. Brand new. Just for this year. So it's pretty cool. It's not the Paul McBeth one, but I'm hoping maybe that the second buzz that I got that I accidentally won on a disc golf auction Facebook group. I was trying to bid the guy up, and I kind of wanted it because it was for a hat and a disc, and I figured why not throw an offer out there, and then nobody bid me up, so I accidentally won it. So I'm going to try to trade that buzz and either get a McBeth zone or McBeth Undertaker, or I don't know, a bag of magic beans or something. I don't know.
one of those whale sacks.
Mm-hmm.
They all
sack. Yes.
Such a weird name.
Sack.
Come on, people.
From the whale. Yes.
So I do want to talk about this McBeth buzz because I said I would when I ran that little video.
Yeah, do it to it.
So the first 2 or 3 shots that I threw with this, I thought this was like God's gift to buzzes because it was so money. It's got a little bit of a dome to it. Like it's not as flat as some of the other buzzes that I've seen, especially not the Z buzzes. So I threw it, full power. I think I threw fan grip, but full power. And it was like one of those fresh Z buzzes that doesn't do anything left to right. Right hand, backhand obviously doesn't do anything left to right, just goes dead nut straight. And then it has a good finish, but it was a lesser finish than like a fresh Z buzz was. So all in all, it was straighter. It was one of the straightest buzzes I've ever thrown in terms of like just a laser and then a very soft fade. And I was like, this is a sweet buzz. And so immediately I took my fresh Z out of the bag because I didn't have room for it at the time, and put this one in. And as I've thrown it, I've had it for all of a couple weeks now. I don't even know how long you've sent this to me.
A couple weeks ago, probably.
It came out on like the 11th of January. It hasn't even been a month since they've been out. So it's already gotten like a little bit of turn and fade. So it's a straighter flying shot, but it has that turn in it now. And sometimes especially with a mid-range shot, I want to be able to throw that dead laser line and know that the line that it comes out on is what it's going to stay on until it hooks up.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm going to have to put that Z back in the bag. But I already have 3 buzzes plus the Buzz OS that I bagged. So I've got the Nate Doss This one actually had Nate's signature on it when I bought it, which is probably the reason I've aced with it because he signed it. So
Well, it's still on there. I can see it right there at the
no,
top.
that's not Nate.
No, not
That's
that one. The one above the stamp.
up here.
The one that's part of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the ghost stamp. Yeah. I mean, it's on there, but he signed it with a silver Sharpie,
Right.
and it was supposed to just go on the wall, but I threw it, and
it's pretty cool. How can you not throw it?
It's cool. This probably one of the coolest discs I've ever owned with the color shift.
It's pretty sweet. Really it looks a lot cooler in person, but it looks cool. You know what disc would be perfect for that shot you're talking about? Huh. The Discraft Luna that you refused to buy. I can't talk about that or say enough good things about that disc. Might not go quite as far as what you're looking for, but man, that thing is straight.
I just don't need another putter, dude. I don't need another putter. For the first time, the putters that I bagged 4, and this I got. Let me put my buzzers down. So I got this Big Z Zone from Ledgestone. This soft magnet. If you never like, I think I was telling you I used to grip all my putters like this and throw them like this, and it was bad news bears. I would just grip lock them. They'd get hung up right there, and they just kind of go.
Oh, the magnets do that worse than anything. I feel like too.
So
that's why I couldn't throw a magnet.
I changed it to gripping it there instead. So instead of this, it's like this.
Yeah.
And I think that just even that little change, I can throw this thing full power and it just doesn't come out with the same amount of snap, so it doesn't get overpowered as easily.
Yeah.
And it's a straight shot, and it settles down because it's soft. It just kind of hits the ground and doesn't do anything. But then I've got the CT Challenger and the Jawbreaker Challenger for up shots. Those are my 4 putters right now, and I just love Challengers so much. I don't think I could ever not putt with a Challenger. So I don't need no stinking Luna. Paul can have them all.
I've got 7 putters in my bag right now. So
7 putters.
7 putters. Part of that is trying to figure out some things for this year.
Yeah.
I've got 2 Lunas, 2 Roaches, 2 Zones, and a Challenger. So not that crazy, but a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is the longer putts that I need to float, I'm going to use this Jawbreaker Roach that I got not too long ago. That's pretty sweet. Seems to float a little bit better than the Lunas do. So I think that's what I'll do. And then the closer putts, I'll use the Luna. Tee shots, probably use the Roach because they have similar flight, the Luna and the Roach, for me anyway. So
yeah. I've heard that they're very similar, but I've never like used a Roach really either. So
the best way I've heard it described is that basically Discraft had the Roach. It came out. It was really popular. People loved it. Then Discraft signed Paul McBeth, and he said, hey, let's take this thing to the next level. Came in, improved it a little bit. It's a little shallower. I think it flies a little faster without dumping to the right. It doesn't seem to dump to the left at the end of the flight. It seems to just fly straight. I mean, you can throw it, and it's the plastic on it's really firm, so you can be firm with those up shots. So I think I can use the Roach and the Luna both. So we'll see.
You bag a zone? You have 1 zone, right?
I got 2 zones.
2 zones?
2 zones. Picked up this Jawbreaker this week.
Beauty.
Which I don't know how it's going to fly, honestly, but it looked cool. So I bought it. Yeah, and then I've got the Big Z Ledgestone Zone.
Dude, I love my Big Z.
It is money. It's like one of my favorite discs in my bag. It's just the right amount of stability that I know where it's going. We'll see. I think this Jawbreaker will probably break in and it won't be quite as overstable. So I like to have that. But it's probably going to fly a lot like the Jawbreaker Challenger that I have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not quite as much glide. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
That's the deal with
figure out.
The theme of Disc Golf 2019 season is we'll see. I mean, not just for you and me, but for Paul too, and for a lot of the pros. I mean, maybe we'll do a whole as the season gets going. Maybe we'll do like a predictions show or something, like who's gonna win, Ricky or Paul? Because I know you have a very interesting take. We'll just tease this. Don't get into it at all. But your take on the Paul Ricky thing is
it's crazy.
It's pretty unique, and a lot of people a lot of people are either Team Ricky or Team Paul.
And that is another thing that I think is kind of funny because for all these years that Paul was on Innova, people hated Ricky Wysocki because he wasn't Paul McBeth.
Right. He was
But
a
now,
spoiler.
if they're Innova homeboys and then now Ricky's their guy, are they supporting Ricky or are they jumping ship to Discraft?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen kind of a mixture of both, so I don't know.
As two guys that have been Discraft guys for years, like we've definitely talked about and already seen all the Paul fanboys coming over, and it's like, oh yeah, all of a sudden Discraft is awesome, and it's not Discrap anymore. It's cool now that Paul's here. Yeah, go suck it up.
I don't know. I honestly think that it's going to be a big year for Discmania. That's all I'll say. I think Discmania is going to have a big year.
Solid prediction.
Year. So
solid prediction.
We'll go into that more at a different time. But
didn't Simon won going down the stretch there at the end of last year? Simon won an A tier or a national tour.
I don't know. I was checked out. I already covered that in this podcast. So
I was actually like just the other day I was going back and like looking at players on PDGA.com and like trying to see where they all kind of stacked up at the end of last year. And I'm pretty sure I saw that Ulibarri was the points winner from last year. I think I saw that at one point. That could be a total lie. I have no idea. But you know, I've appreciated Yuli's approach to coming back to Discraft. You know, like you told me this the other day or maybe earlier today. You know, Paul McBeth is kind of like dragging it out, like, oh, I don't have my bag ready yet, and Yuli's out there winning tournaments and vlogging about how he is
playing tournaments. Yeah, I mean, he did win. I think the one, but
yeah,
he's playing.
He just won.
Doing vlogs, and it's good. But I think part of that too, McBeth is probably being told, "Hey, let's drag this out so we can make it a suspense thing."
Make more money.
He said in his vlog that they released yesterday that he's got all the molds that he wants to go with. He's just trying to figure out what plastic to go with. I don't know how true that is or how long he's had that picked out. I'm guessing he's probably known for a while what he's going to throw, but
I would have to believe that before he even made the switch, he had at least some level of confidence in his ability to throw the shots that he wanted to throw with this scrap plastic. Like you can't tell me that he didn't go out, like, you know, obviously nobody really knows. I'm sure some people do, but we don't know the ins and outs of how it all went down. But at some point in the process of the conversation of him potentially going to Discraft, he had to have just gone and done a field sesh with some Discraft plastic that he bought off the shelf. Because, I mean, you can't tell me that he didn't do that.
Well, and even just those guys playing all, I mean, you play all those rounds with guys throughout the year. You're telling me that you don't just during a practice session, hey, Nate, let me throw a buzz. Hey, Nate, let me throw a force, you know, whatever it might be. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't happen, but I find that hard to believe that you're going to jump ship. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's probably an easier transition than like a ball golfer switching irons. Maybe not.
It's comparable, I'm sure, but I think I would guess just having played a bunch of different sets of irons in my life, like the Callaway irons that I have now are so forgiving. They're so heavy and forgiving that if I went back to like the Adams Tight Lies that you have, like I would probably snap hook everything because I would just so I'm sure that it's comparable but different. But yeah, I can't believe it'd be a whole lot different throwing a rock versus throwing a buzz. Like that's totally.
I think the biggest thing you just have to learn like all the names and stuff. It's just like I was talking about like Discmania. If I switch to everything Discmania right now, it would take me a month probably to learn just all the names and what they do. And then at that point, then you go out and start throwing them and figuring out what does what and what'll work. And I would think in a matter of a month and a half, especially if that's all you're doing all day, every day,
that's your job.
You could figure it out pretty quickly what you're going to be throwing. And if they didn't have anything, they'd be making stuff for you to throw. So
if you're Paul McBeth, they are for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the Raptor that's coming out, the new prototype that some of the underground guys have been working with lately and put some stuff out. I actually think that was a Yuli suggestion or request rather than a McBeth. I read that somewhere, but it's supposed to be kind of like a Firebird.
Did you see the new? They've got the limited edition glow ones that I don't know if they just came out today or I've seen some guys posting about them today. Yeah,
Huh.
So they're pretty
Interesting.
cool.
I
Pretty
want to try
cool.
one out. I love my my machete for like obviously super hard hyzers, but also
Right.
skip shots. I love playing the skip shots when I get in trouble, which is frequent. But getting the skip shot out of trouble and then skipping it down a
Yeah.
fairway. So if the Raptors anything like machete with that nice, like very smooth bottom wing to get that skip shot,
I'm sure it's like a millimeter of a fraction different. And they just put a new stamp on it and said, "Yeah, this is our new disc." Because I'm pretty sure that's what they do. Like,
we were just
we were
talking
talking about that the other day. Like
yeah,
the
the
Wasp,
Mantis
I
and the
think.
XL.
Oh, that too. Maybe I was talking to somebody else about the Wasp and the Buzz OS, or I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But it's like they just
Pull the
swap
shoulder, pull
swap
the
the
parting
name.
line up on
Yeah.
a Wasp and chop the bead off,
Yeah.
and you got a Buzz OS basically.
Yeah.
People still love the Wasp though.
Oh, they do.
Still good. I had an ESP Wasp when I was first starting in disc golf. Pretty much when I had like a first time I put together like a legit bag and not just like a little small bag. I had an ESP Wasp that I loved.
Oh, is it the Hornet that's overstable? It doesn't
Yeah.
have a bead on it
Nope.
though.
So
That's what
why
we were talking about. We were talking about they switched the name of that, and then now the Hornet's out of production, I think, right?
Yeah, Hornet. I'm pretty sure the Hornet's OP. You can get Z Hornets still, but that's why I'm going to add that Z Buzz back to my stack of buzzes here because I lost that Hornet at Spring Valley in a little creek last weekend, and just wasn't about to go get ankle deep in some nasty swamp water.
Poisons or venomous snakes.
Yeah, venomous snakes and who knows what else.
No,
people.
That's why I live in the -40 temps, man. I can't deal with the snakes.
Deal with the snakes.
Dude, when we were on our honeymoon, we played a course in South Carolina, I think it was. And my disc went off the tee. I hit a tree and it landed, I don't know, like 100 feet up. I went to pick it up and there was a big snake. I don't know what it was. All the locals were laughing at me when I told them the story, but I went to pick it up and the thing like stood up and hissed at me and I crapped my pants and got out of there. Yeah.
Audi 530.
Luckily, I went back and got the disc bravely, but
bravely.
That's a word. Brag. I don't know. I threw a stick at the snake. It was slithering away. I threw a stick at it. Got it on GoPro. Thought I was sweet. I was so scared. But then you had to like walk through this tall grass to get out of the course. So I was real nervous that there was going to be one in there. Anywho,
I think we've done part near an hour. I figure that's probably a good first go around.
We haven't really covered much. We just kind of babbled. But
yeah, that's fine.
That's what people are here for, I guess.
People will love it. They'll eat it right up. It'll be
love
great.
To have them like ask questions or join us or something.
Yeah,
I don't
care. If we put it out there on Instagram next time instead of just deciding it the
How
last
many people
second.
can you have on this Google Hangouts thing? Can you have multiple people?
I think you can have up to like 3 or 4, maybe.
Oh, maybe more. I don't know. That'd be cool to get some followers on there and
have
talk to them.
People jump in.
Especially people that know a lot more about disc golf than I do, or you do, or are a lot better or experienced. And
so the pool of people that are potential guests is pretty large.
So out of how many of our followers, 98% of you qualify for that. So let us know if you'd like to join in. I don't know. At least we're honest about it. We just like disc golf. It's a great game. We like to promote it. We'd love to help promote you. Let us know.
Yep. Hit us up on here. Comment. Instagram. We're at Disc Golf Central _, right? Or DG Central _ something like that. I don't know.
Dude, why you gotta ask me this?
We'll figure it out. We'll put the link in the description to our Instagram.
Disc Golf Central _.
Boom. You heard it from the man himself.
So there we are.
So weeknights, we'll probably once a week on a weeknight, we'll try and make this like a regular thing. And
until we don't.
Until you have a kid and everything goes to shit.
Or until we have zero watchers or
like a
subscribers or whatever. But you know what? The good thing is that the game has changed completely in the last like 2 years, and now all these professional disc golfers do vlogs and all sorts of videos, and that wasn't there 2 years ago.
No, it really wasn't.
Really cool. I've been really watching Simon Lizotte. He's been doing a lot of video stuff, just kind of traveling around the country. Ulibarri's been doing a lot. Even Paul Macbeth and Hannah have been doing stuff. So It's been good. It's been.
There's never been more disc golf content on YouTube than there is right now. 100%.
For sure.
So.
For sure. And even the stuff with the guys from Discraft Underground. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff, and all the people that are part of it. Yeah, all the people that are part of it doing the in the bags, and when they get their allotment from Discraft, doing reviews on that. And it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think we'll do a more deep dive into the underground because I think we both think it's a pretty sweet idea, and we think they're doing good stuff. And
yeah, I would love to have them take us aboard.
I don't think we're good enough.
I'll publicly say that I'd love to be part of Discraft Underground. Applied, but Wes,
I'll put it out there that
I'm
fairly confident that I don't meet their standards in terms of play. But
it's still cool to say, hey, I submitted an application.
Yeah, which both of us did.
I was in the running to be a part of Discraft Underground. But
oh, God.
When you play one tournament every 3 years, I don't think they really want you.
Not exactly a prime candidate.
But I still have their hat, and then I had a Buzz shirt on earlier. So
and now we're making a podcast, and it's just going to be a bunch of Discraft honking, pretty much.
Yeah, so they'd be dumb to bring us on the underground and get us
to miss out on this free advertising.
Yeah.
All 0 viewers that we have right here in our message.
Anyway, on that note.
Anyway, we'll sign off, and we'll catch y'all in YouTube land here probably in a couple days, and every week after that for as long as we have the stamina.
Until we don't.
Until we don't.
That's the motto.
That's the name of the game. We're back, baby, for a little while. At least we'll figure it out. Figure it out.
Till we don't.
All right, man. Take it easy.
See ya.